Hello there, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for your monthly forecast for the month of May. Just want to go over some things really quick so that you guys know what we're looking at. First of all, this is not a comprehensive look at the whole month. What I am looking at is one theme that you're working on at some point during the month. I'm actually technically looking at one particular life cycle, and we all have several different life cycles that we go through. And usually they will tend to overlap. So you could have a life cycle in love, in work, in family. A life cycle basically just sets us up to either learn something or experience something. And as we learn that lesson or experience that experience, then as we incorporate that into our lives more fully, we come to the end of the life cycle or the fulfillment of the life cycle, and we get ready to graduate on to the next life cycle. So that's what I'm looking at here is a life cycle. I'm looking at the setup, the lesson or the experience, and then the fulfillment of the life cycle as you incorporate that lesson or experience. So, like I said, this is not comprehensive. This is not going to be giving you a heads up of all the major things that are happening for the month, but it will highlight one of the major themes for you. Okay, so let's get on with your monthly reading. Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by. What we have coming up as a theme for you, let's just jump right in. The first thing that I'm looking at has to do with your environment, and this is telling me that there has been either one of two things going on, and I think this is going to play out different ways for different ones of you Sagittarius. So for some of you in your environment, I think there has been a lot of debate and a lot of conflict going on in your environment. And I feel like in May that comes to an end. There's an end to that finally. And it just feels like a relief for it to come to an end. Now, the other way that this could be coming in for you, Sagittarius, is you have a lot of inner conflict about your environment. So there may be things that you're wondering, should I be changing this about my environment? Yes, I should. No, I shouldn't. Yes, I should. No, I shouldn't. Should I invite my mother to come and share my environment with me? Yes, I should. No, I shouldn't. Yes, I should. No, I shouldn't. Anyway, lots of different conflict about the environment, maybe even about whether you want to be in the environment that you're in or not. And also, I should have said this right at the first, but your environment doesn't have to be home. It really can come up as any place where you have energy or effort invested. So this could be talking about your workplace. This could be talking about your school. Usually it does come up as home though, but you could have a lot of conflict. This could be talking about your workplace. This could be talking about your school. This could be, if you have an office, this could be a lot of conflict in the office, stuff like that. But whatever your environment is, however it's coming up, this is talking about an environment that either has had a lot of conflict in it that is coming to an end, or that you have had a lot of inner turmoil about, and that inner turmoil also is coming to an end, whichever way that's coming through for you. Okay, so the next thing that I'm looking at, Sagittarius, is your subconscious leanings. And your subconscious is working on something really, really good. Your subconscious just wants to be happy. It just wants to be happy. It wants to do the things, it wants to find a way for you to do the things that you really want to do without other people interfering and just feel really productive with doing those. So your subconscious is really working on how can we make that happen. All right, so next thing that I'm looking at is learning style and also communication style. I feel like right now, whatever this life cycle is that you're going through, you are doing some learning or doing some research around this. And the things that you are learning about, you're very eager to know about. You're eager for that knowledge. And so I feel like you've got some curiosity going around learning for this life cycle. And you're really picking up things quickly and adding to what you learn very quickly because of that eagerness to learn. As far as communication, I feel like there are certain people that you're communicating with and you're telling them everything that needs to be said, and you're kind of assuming that they're telling other people what needs to be said. So this may be like a middleman, like, some of us grew up with I'm not talking to your father, you tell him, dot, 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 dot. You tell your mother, da, 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 da. So then you got to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Now, I did not grow up with that, but I did have some friends who grew up with that kind of situation. This is what it feels like to me. Like, I don't feel like it's just that you don't want to talk to somebody necessarily, but it's just that you kind of know that whoever you are sharing this information with is an information sharer. They're going to share that information whether you ask them to or not. All you have to do is spill the beans, and the beans will be everywhere if you spill the beans to these people or this particular person. So that's communication style having to do with this particular life cycle. The next thing that I am looking at is your work, and work for me can be how you make a living, but it also can be those things that you do to improve your own inner self or your own character. And so what I have coming up for work is that there are some secrets. There are some situations around which you feel like you only have part of the story, and the rest of the story is not very forthcoming. So there's just a situation that feels really fishy. So if this is at work, then this is literally what this is. This is a situation that just doesn't feel right. It's like, okay, I know there's got to be more to this. I just can't figure out what that more to this is. Or if this is inner work, this is really you. I feel like this is you realizing that there is something that you want to work on and kind of struggling to find, okay, where is the root of this actually coming from? Where is the root of this behavior? How do I go back and heal that? I have to find where this actually started from. And I feel like that's kind of the discovery journey that you're on if you're doing some kind of inner work, and this is what's resonating with you. So now typically with this, with work, when this comes up, either it will resonate one way or the other. Every once in a while, maybe like 7%, 10% of people will have both of these actually happening in their lives simultaneously. So you kind of have to recognize for yourself which one applies to you and which one doesn't, or if they both do. Also, I do want to mention really quickly, this is a general reading, so not everything will apply to everybody. It just doesn't work like that. My agreement with Sacred Spirit is that most of it will apply to most Sagittariuses who watch this video. Okay? All right, so let's look at our next card. What do we have coming up here is talking about those things that you stand for. And right now you have a really good idea, enterprising idea is what I'm hearing. So this is a good idea for creating income or for expanding the income that you have now. And I feel like you have some other people kind of coming at you and going, well, how are you going to do that? Don't you know you have to have money to pull that off? And you know how people can be. They always know all the reasons why it can't work. So I feel like you're really standing up for this idea. You're like, hey, you know what? If you don't get it, I'm sorry, but this is the way it is, and it's going to go forward with or without you. You know, either get on board and help or get out of the way is basically what you're going to be saying in a very polite way. I feel like you'll say that much more politely than I did, but you guys get the idea. Let's see. The next card that comes up talks to me about how other people perceive you, and they see you as somebody who is fair and who tries really hard to be fair with the people around you, that you don't have, that you don't pick favorites. They don't see you picking favorites. They don't see you trying to skew any situations one way or the other. They just see you as being really honest and fair in your dealings, having a lot of integrity in your dealings with other people. They see you as having respect for other people. So like it doesn't really matter to you what brand of shoes people wear or what kind of car they drive or what side of town they live on. None of that stuff really matters to you. What matters is being fair with people, and that's how other people perceive you. That's what they think when they think about you. All right, so the lesson or experience that we have in this life cycle for you really has to do with spending some time alone, doing some of the introverted work, really looking at yourself, looking at what makes you tick. Why does this make you happy? Why does this make you trigger? Those types of things. So I feel like you will definitely be spending some time alone. I'm not sure how long that is going to take for you. It really is up to free will, like how quickly you embrace that introverted time or how much you resist it will really impact how long you spend in this phase. As you spend time getting to know yourself better, there's a few things that come out of this. First of all, I feel like by getting to know yourself better, I feel like you're starting to feel a little bit pessimistic about general relationships in your life. So to me, how this plays out basically is that you start to realize, you know what, I'm not doing anything that would sabotage these relationships, and yet people are acting really, um, like they've been wounded by me or they've been hurt by me somehow. And so I think that with those relationships where that's going on, you're going to start feeling like, I don't really have a lot of hope to see these relationships improve. That's one thing that's coming out of this introverted time where you're really examining yourself. Another thing that's coming out of this introverted time, though, is that you feel pretty good about yourself and what you've done with your life up to this point. And especially when you look at the obstacles that you've overcome to do the things that you have, I think you feel like, it's okay for you to pat yourself on the back. You have your life organized in such a way that you're happy with it. And, it's not going to be the way it is forever, but at least you're happy with it for now. So that's a pretty cool thing to have come out of this life cycle. And then ultimate fulfillment, I do think that you have something totally and completely new that begins. And I want to say that this really ties back into that whole environment thing that we saw, where there was either inner conflict or inner turmoil, or where there had been a lot of conflict in your environment. I really think you start some kind of new beginning having to do with that. Now, this may be changing environments. This may be changing something in the environment. This may be, I would say, pretty much it's got to be one of those two. It's changing something in the environment or changing the environment itself. And I feel like you give this a whole lot of thought before you actually do it. And when you do it, I feel like it does bring good results for you. Okay? So that is what's coming up for you guys as something important to be thinking about for May, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by, for hanging out, liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. I do appreciate all of your support. Everyone have an absolutely fabulous month. I will see you all back here the next time. Peace out.